Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I am answering one of the number one questions I get is why we don't use the Good and the Beautiful's homeschool curriculum. I have made, I think, 2 other videos on this, but it's been almost a year, so I still get this question pretty consistently, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more, especially now that we haven't been using it, kind of give you an update. Like, am I regretting it? Do you think, am I going to go back to using the Good and the Beautiful? We're going to get into all of that. Now, before I get into this, like, this is not a negative video at all. I think the Good and the Beautiful curriculum is great. It worked really well for us during certain seasons of our homeschool. I think it's like a really good curriculum for specific families, specific situations, and so I don't want anyone to think that this is negative, because it's not. They think they have a great program. I just want to share honestly like why we stopped using it and why I really don't see us using it, or maybe we may use it again in the future. Good and the Beautiful curriculum was launched in 2015 by Jenny Phillips. She wanted to provide faith-based homeschool curriculum affordably for families, and then also, I don't know if it's always had a free option for language arts and math, but there is a free option as well. So people who want to homeschool but don't want to spend the extra funds or can't, they have this free PDF download of this curriculum. So that is really awesome. There's not much good curriculum out there that you can get for free that's put together, as well as the Good and the Beautiful, their math, their language arts, and so that is always a positive on this curriculum, is that some of it is available for free. I have used multiple of their science units. I tried their history year 1. I used their maths levels 1 through 4 and their language arts levels 1 through 4. So I feel like I used 4 levels of their curriculum for both math and language arts before I made the decision that it wasn't going to work for us. Now, I will say that when we first started homeschooling and when my kids were younger, the math and language arts was very easy for me as a new homeschooling parent, as a busy mom, multiple kids, a working mom. You really can just open it and go. It's colorful. The lessons were nothing strenuous. It was pretty easy, if I remember, for us to complete those lower levels. Like levels 1 and 2 were pretty seamless, pretty easy. It was when we started getting into levels 3 and 4 where I started seeing some disconnects. I didn't really see the programs developing as I wanted. I felt like there were some holes in the different elements. Math, I felt like I didn't get, my daughter was kind of jumping all over the place with specific topics, and I didn't feel like it was like a very seamless approach. The pages do start getting very busy in like level 3 and 4. It's all colorful and pretty, but there's the parent section and the student section, and then I want to say in level 3 or 4, there's also video lessons, and then there's all the problems. So I just feel like, and that's all kind of jumbled on the lesson pages, it does get a bit overwhelming, like looking at those pages. Even looking back at like levels 1 and 2, it is still there. And so I do remember, like, I'm looking at the teacher portion and I'm showing the page to my kid, and they can also see the teacher portion. And so I did not like the teacher portion and student portion on the same page. I prefer that to be separate, but also that's because now I'm more confident and comfortable in my homeschooling abilities, to where when we first started, that was just very easy. Open and go, follow step by step by step. There's not multiple books. There's not multiple things you need to do. You just read it straight down. So I've seen that as a positive and I've seen it as a con. And again, I think it just depends on like what season of homeschool you're in, your kids, things like that. The Good and the Beautiful does focus heavily for language arts on phonics levels, probably K through 3, and both of my daughters were very strong readers, very strong in phonics, and so once we started getting through like mid level 2 to 3, I felt like the phonics was not needed for us, but it was such a heavy emphasis. Because as much as reading my kids were strong in, something I really wanted to like focus on was writing and building writing skills. And I did feel like the Good and the Beautiful was a very slower more gentle approach to writing where, you know, in third or fourth, the level 3 to 4, they were still only writing like a paragraph at a time. Whereas I had been doing separate projects with my kids and they were writing full papers. So I felt like the writing skills I was wanting just wasn't there from the levels that we had used. So because I felt like the reading was at too low of a level, the reading phonics aspect, and the writing was, you know, I wanted more of that. I wanted to teach my kids more writing skills. That was a really big decision in language arts. Also, because their language arts is all in one, which can be a positive, right? Because then it's all you need. It has grammar, it has spelling, vocabulary, punctuation, writing, reading. It touches on things just very base level. Whereas, you know, when you kind of make your own language arts curriculum, you can, you know, have a whole curriculum just on grammar, just on writing, and that's kind of what we're doing. Now, that's not the easy option because now I'm juggling, you know, 3 to 4 different curriculums, whereas the language arts from the Good and Beautiful is just one book, open and go. It's just what you really want to see in your homeschool, what you want for your kids. If there's a specific topic you need to get more in depth in, I just feel like you're not going to find that with the Good and the Beautiful because it's kind of an overall approach to it. They do include things like art and geography, which I really did like. I ended up liking, I think, the art and geography more than the language arts curriculum. But then that's also another good thing because then that's stuff you don't have to add in to your homeschool. So the art and geography lessons were really fun. I really liked those. As far as math, I want to say they do a spiral approach, which is fine. I'm totally good with the spiral approach. But I didn't feel like there was enough review. I felt like they would explain one math concept 3 different ways and it would be very confusing. And I understand that kids may need to learn in different ways, but it would frustrate my kids. It would overcomplicate things. Like they knew how to solve the problem, but they wanted them to solve it a different way. And so that just wasn't working for us. As well as once they got older, I felt like I did like the addition of the video lessons, but they weren't very engaging to my kids. And so I would have to review the lesson with them anyways, and that just kind of defeated the purpose of it. There also are not, I think they just came out with maybe level 6 of math, so that's like the first year of middle school, but there's no middle school or high school levels, as well as it's going to be new. So there's no testing, there's no reviews if this curriculum is suitable for preparing for college level math courses. I don't know if they plan to go into that realm at all, but that was another decision. Like, I didn't think the curriculum is fine, but knowing my long-term plans, I wanted to switch to a curriculum that I saw the long-term with. I saw the future. I've seen that it is, you know, preparing them for higher level courses. It's the Good and the Beautiful just doesn't have it yet, and it's newer, so there's just not as much data and reviews established about that curriculum. We'll talk about their history real quick. I used this, like, this was my very first thing I think I used from the Good and the Beautiful was their history year 1. And honestly, I think they're discontinuing their history and revamping the whole thing. I don't remember it because it was over 3 years ago. I think I did a whole video review on it, but I think aimed at like all ages, I want to say, and I was trying to do it with a 1st grader and a 3rd grader, and it just was not working. Things were going over my head. I just felt like it wasn't, I don't know, it just did not work very well. And there is proof in that because they're redoing it. They stopped making it, they're redoing it. And so I feel like the Good and the Beautiful is kind of known for that. They have done many revisions, which is understandable for a newer curriculum company, but also that means that, you know, they're hearing these things from their customers and they're revamping them, which is great. That means they're listening to their customers. But as someone who wants something that's tried and true, that's consistent, that kind of just made me like, I need to find something else. Their sciences are okay. I did the older editions of it where it was a lot of prep work on the parent, the teacher. I've heard the newer ones are a lot easier in that. However, I haven't actually completed one of the newer units. I did like them. My kids really did enjoy the science units when we did complete them. I can't remember. I know we did arthropods. I can't remember some of the other ones we did. The activities were fun. I feel like they learned enough on that subject. They didn't take us super long to complete. So that is something that maybe I could see us doing again, is maybe one of their science units. Possibly. I don't know. But we've tried them. They were okay. That's all I would say about that. Now to talk about, will I ever use the Good and the Beautiful again? Like I just said, I may do one of their science units, possibly. I don't have like anything purchased. I don't really have anything in mind. I like some other curriculum companies better at the moment that work better in our home. But I will say that as my son, who's currently in pre-K, he did not like their pre-K program or preschool program. We did try that. It didn't work out really well. But as he's getting older, I have thought, maybe I'll try their kindergarten language arts. He's the first kid that I have to teach reading to fully. My other two daughters, I was obviously a part of them teaching it, but they also did spend time in their charter schools. And so I'm kind of wanting like that reinforcement. Like I said, I liked the lower level, like grade 1, level 1 and kind of level 2 for language arts. Especially because, I don't know what type of reader my son's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be a stronger reader like his sisters, or if he's going to need some extra focus with phonics. And so I have thought about getting the language arts kindergarten level, just to kind of help me with him and be a little bit more structured in those skills. So it has crossed my mind. I want to say they redid it though. I want to say that it's one of the newer editions, and I was looking at some of the sample pages online, or I think I downloaded it for free and was like going through some of the lessons. I may just print some out and try it with him, because as soon as I saw the pages where all the teacher notes and the kids stuff, I kind of got overwhelmed again. That is probably my least favorite part, is how they combined everything on one page. So my son is very like busy, and he needs to like be able to focus, and so I don't know those pages if that's going to be the best option. But again, it's that comfort thing. It's very easy in the sense of it kind of tells you everything to do. It kind of goes through all the basic things. It gives you, a formula for teaching to these younger age kids. And so I have thought about it. I will probably test out some pages and see. But other than that, as far as anything for my older daughters, any older levels of language arts or math, absolutely not, just because of the reasons I mentioned. But we found stuff that works really well for them. And those older ages, I'm just wanting a different direction. So probably none to any of that. Their history, if they revamp it, I would definitely be interested in checking out the new history. I haven't found a history curriculum I like, so I'm almost starting to believe like I just don't like history curriculum in general, regardless of where it comes from. So I would definitely be interested in checking out their revamped history. Science lessons, like I said, those units would be fine, but that's kind of where my thoughts are with the Good and the Beautiful. So I hope this helped, especially if you're a new subscriber, or if you've just kind of been wondering, since my last update video like a year ago, what my thoughts are now. I hope this was like a fun update for you guys. I always love to hear your thoughts, so leave those down below in the comments. And thanks so much for being here, guys. Have a great day, and we'll chat soon. Bye.